My name is Travis Garrett. I'm an animal care specialist for the birds here at Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance. Lucy is an African penguin, and her hatch date is October 15th of last year, 2024. And she hatched out after being artificially incubated in our avian propagation center. Genetically, our penguins are sort of ranked. They're part of a program called the Species Survival Plan. And so this was a recommended breeding. The egg was pulled after mom and dad laid it. Mom and dad get what we call dummy eggs. So they sit on a fake egg for 40 days while we incubate their egg. Gives us the ability to control weight loss, avoid egg breakage by accident. And then after the egg hatches, we just do a switch. So Lucy came back up here, went underneath mom and dad did a great job for about a 2-week window. Somewhere around 13, 14 days in some of our standard checks of chicks as they go back to parents, we noticed a respiratory issue, a little bit of movement in her body. So the decision was made at that point. Lucy went to ICU up in the hospital. So Lucy's pretty imprinted on staff here because at that point, the amount of care she needed, the medical care along with having to be hand reared because you're not with your parents, results in what people see today when you come to the zoo. She was in pretty rough shape when she went up to the hospital. So she's a great example of the level of care that we can provide here at Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance. They absolutely recognize their animal care specialists. So there are 2 of us in particular that Lucy's very, very imprinted on. So if you see me here at the zoo in Pinnacle's African Penguin Point and I've got a tiny shadow walking around behind me, there's a good chance right now it's Lucy. She follows us around a lot. The conservation behind these guys is important because they are a critically endangered species. We have a problem with fisheries where this type of penguin lives in the wild. Our oceans in that part of the world are essentially a bit overfished. Fish populations are not bouncing back at the rate that they need to support what we as human beings remove from the ocean, as well as what animals need to eat. So conservation efforts are focused on these guys to study the effects of things happening in the wild, to also help the governments in the right countries in those areas to make better judgments about their sustainable fisheries and how to manage fish populations. In the meantime, zoos and aquariums, especially accredited institutions in the US, AZA institutions focus on breeding and the conservation of this species. Their population is a very, very genetically diverse, large population in North America. The science behind that means that if the wild population completely fails, the place where we have a genetic population that exists is inside a zoo and aquarium setting. You can come visit us here at Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance and see Lucy in Pinnacle's African Penguin Point right when you come into the entrance to the zoo. Your visit here at the zoo helps our work to support these animals and the efforts that are needed to sustain them, not only in a zoological setting, but in the wild.